Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Code for episode 111 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your DM, Jillian, and we have our players today. Sam, as always, we have Kyle, Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. I think I'll just jump into the recap so we can get trucking. There's a road to wander, or not, We'll see where we go. Last session, the party involved themselves in a night of gossip and the residuals of hallucinogens and following bear as in no shoes, just to clarify, um, footprints through the snow that went to and from the river. In this river, you see a shining object, which is magical, and Keld, not wanting to wait, is like, hold this lantern and jumps into the water. Has a small encounter with a lump of sentient seaweed, just a small one. It doesn't last too long as Keld Misty steps out of the situation with a necklace in hand, a kind of misty, clear crystal with algae or moss in the center in the shape of a heart. Finding out that it is magic and that it seems to be related to healing and the speeds at which to do that. And Keld, seeing it is either a trap or a gift or both, keeps it because that's only polite. There is an encounter with our friendly neighborhood woodsman, who is a little sassy. He does not like to be spied on, and it seems he figured out that you guys were. Was not too happy about it, but in the morning was brought breakfast by Keld, and it seems he agreed to have an interaction with Nana if she could, kind of earn his trust back, and it seems he caved pretty quickly, and informed you that he can't confirm that his ritual worked. He can't say if it failed or succeeded or what your condition currently is, but he gave you a list of symptoms to look out for, including nightmares, night sweats, joint pain, heightened emotions, and a change in the injury where the bite is, and said that it is a curse and that it needs to be removed swiftly if you do have it. And if you can't, in his words, you could live a life of solitude or you could not live a life at all. Those were his two suggestions to this curse coming to fruition. To which you part ways. The party now gathered. It is morning. You all are currently putting your stuff upon the cart. There is now a box of glassware in the back. And that's where we're going to pick up. You guys are currently still in town, but you are prepped and ready to go. What do you guys like to do?
So is it safe to say it's still morning?
Yes, 100%. It's like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. early.
We got
It is midnight. We're back in the inn. We're done.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I think Nana is mostly preoccupied with checking up on Thick Biscuit's tack and making sure he's well fed for the road ahead and getting everything set for the road.
Yeah, I think my question pertains to, is there anything you guys wanted to do before leaving town? And are we leaving town?
I think Roshan assumes we're leaving, so unless anyone else says no, he's packing the cart.
Nix is in the cart. She's ready to go.
Yeah.
Great.
That's fair. That's fair. I understand.
Right.
Easy enough.
Mhm.
You all begin your trek, leaving Burkcourse. From what you know, what you can assume if you're not impeded for too long, it should take you about 4 days. Probably on like early 5th morning, you would arrive in Noansikt, which is the next city over, more correctly. And you've been here before. You're officially retracing your steps. This is the town where you met Ember, and acquired a bit of a job from her, which went uncompleted. Uh, but
We
you
might
guys
be
were-
able to pass back by there sometime
Yeah.
when we're not toting thousands of years old warlord in our wake, you know.
Yeah. And also, this is the city where, in a letter you received from Keld and Nyx's contact, that Gunhild was, which is one of Bosch's generals. You all are pushing forward on the road. You're about 4 days out, and about in total verging on close to like almost 3 weeks to get to the capital. It's a trek. Yes, Nana.
Jeez.
I think probably the first thing Nana's going to concern herself with once we are well outside of town, well outside of earshot of anyone who would care to hear gossip. I think Nana is going to communicate as much to the party about her potential symptoms as she can, as well as she can remember it all, and make it plain that this is going to be something that, if it does wind up still being a problem, it is a curse. It will need seeing to, and if it is not, then she will not be safe to be around people.
I really hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, I hope not as well, but I would much rather the lot of you be prepared and know what to expect, what to look for. Frankly, I'd much rather have more eyes than just my own on this.
You've got at least mine.
Same here.
Of course.
My eyes too. And Roshan doesn't look up from the puzzle box in his hand.
Yeah, no, that makes
Uh-huh,
sense. Nana's used to that. Yeah, of course, yeah. Yes.
I think it might be slow going, but Roshan would like to try blessing himself on the road with what is it? What's the cantrip? Guidance.
Hey!
And trying
if
to
he
open it
also wants.
slowly.
Can I offer the help action in this and kind of like look over Roshan's shoulder and be like, no, I think you got that wrong.
I am going to say, when it comes to this puzzle box, that none of you are proficient in puzzle box. So for this one, I will say no help action unless magically related. I will
could give
accept
enhance ability
magics or very odd descriptions of why your ability is helpful, but I need something spicy, you know?
I mean, I got thieves' tools.
Like, I got
Yeah, let's just lockpick
I'm gonna
this
break it
fucker.
open. Fuck this puzzle.
It's me taking
But
a
leaning
hammer
more
to a
towards
Rubik's Cube.
magic. But you are welcome to give it a go with guidance. Anything else being thrown on top of that?
No, that's all I got.
All right.
Would you like anything else?
No.
It's too late.
Okay.
I got a 21.
You feel guided and inspired, and this stupid box won't open.
I think this box gets spiked at least sometime that afternoon.
Like spiked on the floor of the cart.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Oh, careful.
It hits, rolls slightly, lays there to mock you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No closer to being open.
And its stupid mocking box.
One of these days, it's going to shoot a needle out and cut his hand and turn into the Hellraiser box.
Oh god.
No. Ah.
We have such things to show.
Just a bunch of hooks just jut out of it.
Oh no.
Jesus.
Ah.
Perfect for Roshan's
Campaign took a
office
turn.
stick. I'm being honest here. I feel like that's too on the nose.
Anything while you guys are on the road? We had a conversation about, a casual one about maybe having a curse and working on trying to get this puzzle box open. Is there anything of note on the first day of travel?
Fen would like to use the alchemy jug to start filling up gallon jugs with honey.
Okay. Somebody with the jug open, how much honey can you do in a day? There are limits on liquids.
1 gallon of honey per day.
Okay, you can have 1 gallon of honey.
Okay.
If you
Like
have
that.
I feel like that's like all of your containers. Uh, maybe I'm mistaken about how much a gallon of honey is, but I would say that would
It's a
fill up
gallon
a
of
good
water.
some of
That's
your
a
jars.
lot.
That's a
That would
lot
be
of
like
honey.
that would be like all the jars, which good haul for the day.
Yeah.
It's slow going because it's honey, but what else are you gonna do?
Literally.
Just for funsies, hey, we're all here to have a good time and roll dice.
Mhm.
Give me sleight of hand just to see how this honey endeavor on the back of a cart goes.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Do you want
18.
invincibility? Oh,
Okay.
never mind,
I
you're
mean,
fine.
some honey does not make it into a container, but it's not bad. It could have been bad, and you see how it could have been, but it works out fine.
I got
Okay,
this.
in that case, actually, let me check real fast and see what comes out of the bag of tricks, and maybe if it's a badger, it would like some honey. It is a 2, and I believe a 2 is, I don't know, I don't have it, and I'm trying to open it right now.
A mystery animal.
He's a mystery.
It's an animal.
Or is it?
Or
It's
is
a giant rat.
a big rat?
Oh, good.
A giant
Big rat loves honey. Big rat.
I love him.
Very large.
Look,
Just like sticky honey mouth. It's cute but unsettling. It's not. It's good imagery and bad imagery all stitched together.
mhm.
Cute ratto. Also, bleh.
While you all are progressing forward, Roshan, you hear sort of you kind of like, you can tell when somebody is sending you a message. There's always just like a slight tingle on the back of, like, right at the nape of the neck. And then the words spring forth as if thoughts in your mind.
Great.
Question. And you hear Aliona's voice ring through your mind. Question. Opinion on Guard and Skull City. Detailed response requested. Thank you.
Great.
Throws
How
the thing
many
and is like,
words do you get? How detailed can you be?
25 words for a detailed response.
Mhm.
Do you want to try and maybe break it down, one in one message and one on the next one?
depends how detailed you want to be.
I'm having trouble stringing together what Roshan thinks about the guard. What's the best way to sum it up concisely? So I think there's a long pause. Roshan gathers his thoughts and says,
Guard is asshole, must die.
the guard is an old enemy harnessing corruption for power. And Skull City is the most magical place ever by.
You have 5 left.
Oh, shit.
Bye. And extra bye.
Great for dead god magic.
Great for dead god magic.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
Those two things seem similar to me. What I just got here. But why is guard not good for me?
The guard upsets the social balance and is trying to usurp power from the local leaders. So maybe not bad for you.
I was gonna say that I don't think she'd care about.
It depends.
Okay.
But
Bad-
evil.
bad. I do love structure. Okay, enjoy your travels. I'll message you when I'm in need of information. Your place is she's interesting. And that's the end of it.
Who is?
I
Your
think
place,
the res-
as in your continent, is interesting.
oh.
She's interesting.
She is a very interesting continent.
She's
Um,
great.
I think Roshan replies to that. Perhaps more interesting to you is one of the gods of legend here. Check out the lighthouse at what's it called?
I have a map. I have a map.
The map.
I labeled it.
It's right here.
It's at Havelizer, the sea's light.
The lighthouse at Havelizer, the sea's light. Ask for Loki.
This sounds like a big trip, but I'm sightseeing. I hope you and your friends are having fun. This is wearing me out to keep calling. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thanks. Whatever. I just kind of trailed off.
I love her a lot. She might be a thousands-of-year-old warlord, but like, I love her.
But if
Yeah.
she likes us, perfect. 10 out of 10.
Love it. Mwah. No.
Calling
I
for
think-
my opinion.
Roshan's not going to overstay his welcome, and he will just leave it at that.
Do we? Does this
She
message?
doesn't reply, but there's almost like a respect and thank you for no longer speaking. Like an energy you can feel of like the channel is very closed now. The conversation is done. Thank you for understanding.
Status is away.
Am I remembering correctly? Am I remembering correctly that message does require a at least whispered response?
Oh yeah, you have to say your response out loud. So they are both actively speaking out loud.
Okay. Okay. So all right. That was some interesting information. Who is calling?
Alyona was looking for some general information about the continent.
And the god and Skull City from the sounds of things.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we can only hope that she hasn't been approached by one of the god's cultists.
I think honestly that they're so below her that she wouldn't deign to talk to them.
Ooh.
Oh, that is
Zing.
sort of the vibe I did get from her. I mean, I can only hope. She is far above them, in fairness, so...
I think anybody who asks Alyona for anything to offer her power would get a scoff in reply, because what can you give her that she doesn't already have other than knowledge that she could ask of anybody?
A friend?
I don't think she's looking for friends.
Oh, so you guys don't want to be your friend? Okay.
I mean, we do.
Make me a note.
No,
It's just a sad face.
no, we've been locked out
I'll
of
put a little tear.
anything.
No, please.
Can't even enter the friend zone.
Sorry.
Oh,
No friends.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, guys.
Well, I'm sure if she tried having some friends in the modern day and age, she'd enjoy it.
no. She might. There's
and
a chance.
hopefully it will be someone who doesn't want us dead. At least.
She might find a good friend in Gosh, what was Egil's friend's name? The snake lady?
Valrone.
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 Maybe I should have set those two up.
Those two would be terrifying in the same room, but I can't argue with that.
What those hands do, though?
What do those hands do, though?
These are the questions. As Nick and Quelled, I just feel like sort of like nod along, like, yeah, all these
Totally understanding, huh?
yeah. What do those
Okay.
hands
We
do?
have to
Valid
obviously
question.
describe Valrone for Quelled and Nyx's benefit. Nana doesn't know that Nyx has been spying on Egil. She doesn't know if she knows who Valrone
That's true.
So many
So
of
Nana
those
Quelled's not
describes
paying
Valrone to
100%
Quelled and
attention.
Nyx.
Keld's too busy looking through his pot. He's kind of got it on his lap.
Aw,
You
what's
see
he
him like
looking
pull out a trinket and kind of inspect it, put it back, pull out a little baggie, look at it, put it back. He's just been doing that absentmindedly for a little while.
Taking a mental tally of your pot goods.
Sometimes you got to take a tally of your pot, you know?
Lord knows, you have to keep very careful inventory of your pot,
Here at the Dice Cult, we value organization.
if nothing else.
That's our one core value.
Except
And-
when we don't. But don't ask
Except
us
I
about
cannot uphold it by any stretch of the imagination. But that's okay.
that. Nobody asks us about that. No one.
But if there's nothing else for the daytime, the trek so far seems to pass. You are unimpeded, and you can find a spot to set up for the night. Back on the road again. Is there anything while we're all hanging out? There's trees abound if one needs to scry or cry. It depends on if we're still doing that or not. But anything for the night? Yes, Nana. I'll go to you first.
Yeah, Nana does sort of just want to kind of take a personal inventory after the day's travel, take a look at the wound, see if it's raised, kind of like sit for a little while. She's no elf. She's not the best at meditating, but she can sit quietly for a while with herself and her thoughts and see how she's feeling. Does anything feel different?
Go ahead and roll medicine for me real quick as you take like a more anatomy based kind of check in with yourself, more to the books.
Everybody check the moon.
What kind of moon we looking at here, boys?
Oh man, my dice was spinning on one corner for a hot minute, and then it became very underwhelming. That's fine. Medicine check. It's an 11.
There are the flat, sort of white marks on your arm where the teeth ripped into your skin. Besides that,
Were subsequently
nothing seems or feels different to you.
Okay.
But anxiety is a bitch, you know.
Yeah, it sure fucking is.
So
It's been like a constant travel buddy for like a year now.
yeah. Am I emotional because of this, or am I emotional because, maybe I need, a spa day? It's
It's anyone's
unclear.
guess.
But you take a moment of kind of to check in with yourself and a moment to just kind of gather your thoughts. Quelled, is there something you wanted to do?
Yes, actually. I'll say that he definitely noticed Nana taking, checking on her wounds and stuff. I think I might be able to help if you'd allow it.
Of course. I'll take any help you can give. What do you suggest?
I have a way to remove curses, if it is
What?
a curse.
You do?
I do.
Tomorrow, but
After it's prepared.
Yes.
Well, all right. Okay. Is there anything that we can do about it now, or?
I've got to prepare it, so I think we could do it first thing in the morning.
Okay. Sure. Of course. Honestly, I'd much rather be twice as sure if possible. I'd like to
too.
think that what Greaves did helped, but he said himself he couldn't guarantee. And I knew that. But if there's some way that maybe we can have some doubled reassurance, I'd appreciate that before we got to Nawatin.
Of course, yeah.
Thank
Let's.
you. Well, will there be anything you need from me, or can I help you with your preparations?
No. I'll just have to make us a cup of tea in the morning, but I think I've got it all figured out.
It won't be chunky, will it?
What?
The last couple of times I've had to have help with something that was inside of me that I didn't want. I had to drink horrible, chunky potion tea things. Very gross.
Mm,
Can it be strained
No.
at least?
Yes, I've got a strainer somewhere.
Oh, thank God.
And this tea's very good.
Oh, well, I didn't doubt that. I don't think it's
It's-
possible for you to make anything that isn't delicious, but
Oh, well, it's not mine. It's my mother's recipe.
oh, well, that's lovely. But thank you. That means a great deal, honestly. Using the things that our parents give us is always special.
I like to think so.
I ever tell you
so
where I got this short sword from?
I don't think so.
Nana tells Keld about Ave's wedding
Ah,
and the occasion on which Lon's father of Hertha bequeathed the short sword to Ave. And she doesn't go too far into the details of how that then came into her possession. That story's already been told, but she focuses on the wedding. It was a happy day.
that sounds like a very happy day.
It was.
I think that's my
very
favorite
proud.
story you've told me so far.
I'll try and tell more happy ones.
Good.
It's
I
hard to
prefer
remember
those.
them sometimes.
Okay. So this is how I'm going to present this today. If people want to have conversations or do something during watch, you inform me, because tonight I'm going to be skipping them.
Alacrity.
I'm zooming. No real reason, but you know,
No reason.
you watch stuff you can't see, half of you can't see, you know.
Who wants watch
Uh,
conversations? Scrying
yeah.
tree, crying tree.
Yeah.
Mm.
You don't need to, you know. But if somebody wanted one, is there anything before the next day comes? A casual night.
With each night, if we're skipping through these, I definitely want to work with Jenny on trying to meet more of the party and get her to identify people, especially our two new people. So
Once a night.
Sure. Roll animal handling
Good
and tell me which
thought.
person before you roll.
start with Keld because we were already working with him.
Okay.
Mm.
Finally.
There you
Finally.
go.
Yes.
So
As
22.
Keld lays asleep inside the dome after spending, you know, an accumulative many hours trying to get Jenny to do this. You got her to do this with Gorbjorn, and then Gorbjorn left. She kind of, you watch her kind of hop around on your hand, and there's kind of a moment of dejection as you can't get her to go over, and as you kind of like look away and like look back. She's just like sitting sort of on Keld's like ear and is sort of like kind of fluffing up and like getting comfortable and like right in the crook right there. And then we'll fly from you to Keld.
I was gonna say, just put a treat on his head.
So proud of her. I'm so proud of
Oh
her.
yeah, Keld, you're gonna wake up. There's just multiple like bugs that fall off of you, and you're like, all right,
Okay,
not the
weird.
weirdest thing
All
that's
right.
happened to me.
She's just there to do delousing.
Yeah. I'm just here to help.
Just helping.
She will never say that, but
No, those are never words that will come out of Jenny's beak.
even Jenny can have character development, so we'll see what happens.
Fair
Maybe she'll,
Never say never.
get better.
Maybe.
But the next day comes. During the night, Nana, you have nightmares. But you always have nightmares. So,
I do. What are these about? Generally.
they're your average run-of-the-mill nightmares that you have nature-centric, creeping vines in the darkness sort of energy. What you're used to.
Yeah, like I always have. Great,
Mhm.
cool, fine, fun, great, fine.
Yeah, and you're not sure if it's just like, the paranoia or not being aware, but your arm is a little itchy.
Nana doesn't like that, but she will resist the urge to scratch. But I think she will head right over to Keld that next morning and be like, so, about that tea.
Oh, yes. I've actually got it going.
Good. Oh, it smells wonderful.
Doesn't it?
What is that? It's not chamomile.
I don't have the full recipe, actually.
Oh, that's a shame, but
She hasn't shared it with me yet.
well, hopefully one day soon.
I hope so. So I'll go ahead and make that tea, pour a cup for Nana. Here you go.
Nana will accept it, and do I say anything? Do I do anything different? Just drink it.
Yeah, just drink that.
All right.
While you're drinking that, Keld's gonna pour the rest of the bag of that tea over the fire.
Okay. Nana watches this while she's drinking her tea, and she drinks it right down. What's the flavor like?
Definitely like a floral sweetness to it. Maybe a bit lavendery.
Oh, nice.
Just an herbal tea.
Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, thank you, Keld.
Of course. All right. He's going to take a moment to sort of focus. Oh, may I see your arm?
Oh, of course. Nana will kind of scooch a little closer to him and hold out her arm for him.
Cool.
Does it look any different from yesterday? She's kind of eyeballing it since it's a little on the itchy side.
It's a little red because you totally scratched it,
God damn it!
Gonna have to put on the gloves at
unavoidable
night.
unconscious.
Gotta put on the oven mitts.
Yeah.
Calamine lotion.
But Kel, she shows you the mark. You can see the little white scars across it.
He's gonna sort of mutter and put his hands on the wound. And you'll notice they start to there's like a glowing like around where his fingers touch the skin. And light's just gonna sort of seep into that wound. And after a little bit, well, I guess after a couple minutes, smoke's gonna sort of seep out from under there.
Does it feel hot? Does it feel painful? Does it feel different at all?
You're probably gonna feel something warm at least. Not like burning.
Okay. All right. Well, that's nice.
Just like a warm magic, sensation.
Keld, as you watch this sort of kind of light spectral smoke kind of lift up from your fingers in the wound, only you to see is the gnashing of teeth in the fog as something wild and feral is ripped from the body, and you watch it go up in smoke.
You see him start to nod and watch this. You're like, what?
Is everything okay?
Yes, I think it's all good. I think it
Yeah?
worked.
Really?
How do you feel?
Uh, did it stop itching at least?
I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
a
a place
pet.
on the arm that you've been itching. I would say, you know, maybe give it a minute.
Okay.
It's kind of hard. You just had spectral smoke leave your arm. You're like, is it good?
I'm not sure. It doesn't hurt. It's not worse.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Still a little itchy, but I'll give it a little bit. Thank you, Kel.
Welcome. Yes, I could see it leave, so
Really?
looked something very. It looked a lot like a wolf, some sort of spectral canine.
Oh. Well, I'm glad we took care of that now rather than later.
Me too.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I don't think I could have lived with myself if I'd done anyone here any harm or anywhere else.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see what that would have led to.
Nor I. Nana kind of just has a spur of the moment inspiration. She kind of like flings forward and wraps Keld up in a hug.
Yeah, you get to like right under the pecs, probably is like where your head lands.
He big.
And arms wrap around you, kind of encompassing from the top.
Whoop.
It's very. I figure Gorbjorn gives similar hugs. Very
Yeah.
all-encompassing, enveloping.
It's interesting. Keld is a little bit taller than Gorbjorn too, so it's like an even newer experience of just crazy tall dudes.
Big hug.
Big hug.
This is good.
Now finish your tea. It's the last cup of that.
Fair enough. I will. Nana will not let this tea go to waste. It is good tea. This is a potion she will gladly take again if she has to. She doesn't want to, have to, but if she must, this is one she wants.
Roshan, during this, you know, minding your business, but also keeping an eye,
As he does.
as you're known to do, being aware, but you know, over here, but here,
We're here.
you
We're
can
aware.
feel somebody is much more interested. It's as if your head is facing this way. You can almost feel it physically. You're looking this way, but there's a part of you leaning in and looking, and you can see that the shadow is, you can just feel that it is watching intently.
I think Roshan would turn his eyes to look just briefly. Does he see anything as the whole thing's going on?
You look over, you see what anyone else would see. You don't see anything particularly special besides some healing magic taking place.
Some spooky smoke.
I think as he's probably cleaning up breakfast or whatnot, he'll say, "Interested in that?"
There's a pause. And it's strange. It's almost like kind of like when you kind of squint or go cross-eyed where people sort of double, except it's the feeling of yourself standing here and the feeling of part of you being slightly off center as the head turns in to look at you. Still part of you. I just enjoy seeing easy kindness.
Sheesh.
Oof.
I think Roshan just sighs and tries not to think too deep into it.
Can't the shadow just enjoy something? No.
How
Impossible.
dare ye.
Certainly not.
But you are now on your second day of travel. Anything of note from the team as you push forward?
The same puzzle boxing.
Okay.
Would you care
Boxing.
for a little additional assistance?
Oof.
You
No.
got to catch it before the dice.
I,
No one talk to me.
Nope.
I rolled a nat 1, but that's still a 13.
That's still really good.
These.
Books come shooting out of the box!
There's a moment where you try to like, it's straining and you're like, I swear it should be able to go this way. The lines, they line up and your hand slips as you're putting a lot of pressure into it. And your elbow goes straight into the side of the cart. So you take 1 point of damage.
Oh, that's the worst! It's not funny at all!
Making the experience all the more terrible.
This little box is certainly frustrating.
I sure
Nana
hate this
will
box.
Quietly mutter a spell and kind of pass Roshan a good berry.
He'll eat it angrily.
A desiccated berry is passed into your hand, and you are
It is slightly
1 hit point
by magic, but
up, and you're very full. You're full for the day.
Wow.
Wow, I don't feel like I need to eat any of Keld's good cooking anymore.
You're
Oh,
like, well,
sad.
that's
oh
shame.
no, that's not what I meant to do at all.
Just
Good
eat it
berry.
anyway. It's fine.
The real bad guy.
Gasp. The bad berry.
The bad berry.
While you all are pushing forward, once again, you see multiple carts and people walking, people on horses. You see homes that are not exactly part of a town, but are in just the expanse of the world. You can see farms, people at work, people at leisure, people at travel.
Does everything look pretty normal? Does anyone seem agitated?
I mean, it's very cold.
Well, there's that.
It's getting colder, and the snow is coming in hot, not in the sense of anything debilitating for the group, especially because the roadways seem pretty clear, is the thing. These paths seem pretty legible, and snow does not seem to stick to them. And you can see that there is a woman who is walking, and she has 2 children next to her who are also walking with her. They look about to be like 4 and 5 kids had back to back, and all 3 of them have bags. You can see that 2 of them, the 2 children, sort of wobble and stumble with it, but it seems, they also want to hold a big bag too. We're helpful. And you can see that they're taking handfuls of what looks like very thick salt and are throwing it sort of across the road and seem to be just like meandering towards an unoccupied cart that you can see multiple bags are stacked up in. You can see that there's like little pieces of like something black in there too. You can't tell what it is, but it seems to be what is possibly keeping the roadways accessible.
Is this
Good for them.
anything that we might have seen back westward? Is there any practice of, I guess, salting the road? I don't know
Yeah,
if we would
the
call
thing
it
is-
that there, but
There's salt in that road, kind of. The thing is, in the West, there are people who are paid the big bucks. That their job is to manually take out these carts that are made for pushing away snow. So it is not as well managed per se.
okay.
And there are ways to, keep it a bit more accessible. But this is whatever they're using is extremely efficient.
This is incredible. I wonder if we could maybe set up some kind of trade route between here and Galunda, get some of this on the roads. It'd
Give
make
us a
crossing
call.
between towns in the winter a lot easier.
Yeah, you see one of the kids kind of meander forward and is like, reaches a hand in to try and grab like a handful of the salt, but fully releases half the bag, so it just falls out of their hands.
Oh,
And then they just start like slowly pushing this salt mixture into the road. The woman seems unfazed and is just continuing. You guys are going opposite directions, so they're coming towards you. And you can see that the road ahead looks much more clear than the road you left.
wow. This is wonderful. Have you seen this a lot over here in the East? Is this something that happens every year, or is this new?
Have we noticed these clear roads?
I mean, I don't know if y'all would know from where you're from, but
you guys would not know about this.
Yeah.
This isn't something that strikes a chord for you from where you are from.
In the woods, we don't waste salt on the road.
well,
Road.
that's a fair point. Probably much better used on, I guess, food and the like. But there must be some sort of great supply around here if they're just using it willy-nilly all over the road here. Certainly seems efficient.
The older of the two kids, who's just about 5, as your cart is passing, grabs a handful and throws it so it kind of lands near your wheel, like he's trying to help. And then kind of like
Thank you.
goes up and like keeps walking, and the
You're doing
woman-
a very good job.
thank you very much. And he like kind of puts his chest down and starts like walking, and the woman kind of glances over. Can you go spread that out? And she keeps walking. He's like, I can, and goes over and like is trying to spread out the salt in that spot. And then takes them and puts it back into the bag.
So
But yeah.
of the honey that I made, I want to give whatever one of the little smallest jars, the vial or something of it to the little kid.
Aw.
Thank you for the tip. And has the honey in hand and is like, and like pushes it down their shirt.
Here we go. Hey.
And continues diligently doing their job, motivated by receiving a tip.
So wholesome.
But that is how your second day is going. Anything else before camp?
Bad.
All right.
Well, I guess really the only thing I could think of would be maybe like talking with the party about what we plan to do about something with a stony gaze as we're coming up on Noansect. I mean, just something to talk about when there isn't somebody immediately passing us on the road.
Sure. You guys
mean,
are
not
welcome to talk about
necessarily-
whatever you want.
We can either have the conversation in character, or we can say like, well, we plan this and this and this. Whatever y'all want to do.
I mean, I'd love to see some in-character stuff if that is what we are doing currently.
Very well.
I'm open to suggestions. Does anybody know what sort of creature might have a stony gaze?
I mean,
Does that make sense to anyone?
I feel like there's probably a story here or there. Nana's maybe heard something about monsters that go bump in the night that can look at you and turn you into a statue, I guess.
Let's see. How about
heard a tale?
give me a history check, please.
History check. I can.
Anyone's welcome to, except Fen, who I know already rolled about this a little bit ago. I remember. With my brain. It works occasionally.
Good roll. That's a 19 history.
Me
I got a
too.
nat 20, but that puts me at a 19. 'Cause I have a
3
minus
19s.
one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's stories about stuff that turns things to stone. There's the story of, first off, no personal experience by anybody here, no first or second hand accounts. But
Googly stories.
There's stories of like when you're a little kid, and the story was to keep you out of the chicken coop because at night There would be a terrible monster of a chicken that would be in the coop and turn you to stone, and you'd stay that way for at least a day, and then your parents would catch you and know you snuck out. So there's that story that would be apparent probably to some people. There are some kind of terrible reptiles, I guess the best way to put it, that you've heard about. Also an ability of the gods. This seems to be a god-centric ability that you could think of, a punishment. And there would also be stories. I'll give this one to you, Nix, with your nat 20, which is a 19. That there's, the stories of how magic goes wrong, the story of magic used poorly and made to create monsters, not of flesh, but of hardened materials, whether it be stone itself or metals. A creature made by man that can turn others to stone. There is a plethora of being that could do that. Best option, it's the chicken.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the chicken. Honestly, because Bosch has already used chickens here in the West.
Is that a story Ave told you about chickens?
Well, yes, it was to keep me out of the chicken coop.
Don't think she would have warned us about chickens.
Well, I mean, if it can turn you into stone with a look, that could be potentially bad if it's accompanied by something more dangerous.
If it can turn you to stone with a look, then let's hope they're particularly nearsighted.
Who knows? It's rather anyone's guess. It kind of depends on the story as to whether you have to meet the thing's gaze, or if it just has to look at you, or if you have to look at it. It depends on who's telling it, really. I don't know. There's a number of different things that this could be, but I suppose the thing that would really be helpful is if there's some other way that we can look out for this thing without necessarily endangering ourselves. If it is merely the act of setting eyes on it that will incur the stone thing.
Also, just real quick, as a reminder to the people at home, because you guys don't have access to the notes, the note that the party received that they are currently trying to interpret, I'll give you the quick rundown, was received by a contact that Nix and Keld have that says, Gunhild in Noansicht, eye on the road, stony gaze. So you
I
guys
mean,
are
that's assuming that she's being literal. I don't know. I feel as though she wouldn't have just thrown around that phrase lightly. I'm not sure what else it could mean, but I suppose it's not impossible it could be something else.
Well,
Actually, she's not so cryptic.
do we recall the first time we were through here? Were there any stone statues? Maybe that's where we could expect her next note.
There are, it's a little harder to tell because first off, you're not, used to the area, and it's also been snowing. But that would not be a strange sight to see, is pieces of statues or broken temples scattered about the place. That would not be strange.
And this is
Maybe-
an old country, right?
Maybe if we see a statue, we need to go to where it looks to find a note from her.
Well, maybe. Does she usually use clues like that to indicate where to find her next communication?
We've only really used the tree trunk before this most recent note.
True.
But it's worth checking. I mean, if we're going to be passing them
Definitely.
anyway.
I mean, especially if the statue looks particularly lifelike and with perhaps a look of agonized dismay on its face.
True. Eyes out.
Well, while we travel, I'll keep an eye out for statues and chickens.
Two valid things to search for. Fen, I can only assume someone's going to help you. It seems weird to go off the beaten path now. You can go ahead and give me a straight roll for perception.
Perception. It is a 22.
Okay. As you make your way down the road, there's a spot where there's a bit of stone, but it's more it is less humanoid and statuesque and more a bit of something old that's a solid 2 blocks long and does not seem to have eyes about it anywhere and is mostly covered in snow. And no chickens to be seen or enemies on the horizon. Day 2 of your travel seems to go by just fine.
Nana is going to give some... Oh, no, we haven't gotten to day 3. Never mind. Once day 3 hits, Nana's going to give Roshan some goddamn enhanceability because this is painful to watch. Anyway, day 2.
Anything that night, boys?
I'll try with Jenny to get her to recognize Nyx.
All right. Animal handling.
Do you want some enhanceability?
I got a 4. That means she hates Nyx.
Oh no.
Basically, if you say any name currently, she will go to quelled. It seems to be the kind of setup. It's like, I did it. What's wrong?
I found name, and now I get food.
You say word and put your arm out, I go to him. And is
I
Over
understand.
what?
He's a very nice man. Nyx seems nice too, but we'll keep working on it. I'm proud of you for recognizing Keld. I consider him a friend at this point. He's a little crazy. He jumped in a river. It was freezing cold. I
He's
don't know
also
why he
very
did it,
big.
but he got a nice necklace.
and just kind of bows up and gets comfortable. But she continues her training nonetheless.
Nana does want to kind of do a quick check-in on herself, just kind of see whether or not she feels any different. Has the itching gone away at least? That's about it.
There's no mark left.
Oh, no more trace of the scars?
Nope, they're gone.
Holy shit! Wow. Huh. Well, I was expecting to be able to boast to that when I got back home, but no, that's fine. Honestly, I will take
Wow.
no scars in exchange for no more curse. That's fine by me.
Magic.
Okay, are we on to day 3? We hit the road. Nana, you see that puzzle box begin to come out of the bag.
Ooh! What is the relevant skill? Was it Fox's cunning for intelligence?
I believe so.
Advantage on intelligence checks, motherfucker.
All right. Investigation. With advantage.
Advantage.
Oh, you're muted.
Crossing your
I can't read your face.
That's really close. It's
Oh,
a 29 total.
oh
Oh,
no. Oh no.
Oh!
Sadly, I shall not
Invested.
budge.
She's watching. She's like just
Um,
quietly hoping.
there is a moment where you're twisting and you swear you see one of the cracks start to illuminate, and then it almost pulls back against your hands and kind of it did not click into position and just sort of respins itself back into another configuration, but you saw what you were looking for.
I saw the face of God in this puzzle
Yeah.
box.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Bitch!
Yes, Fed.
I'm mad for you.
More good news. Rufio is a giant elk today, and I'm going to ride him
You
while
know,
I look for
That's good.
statues and chickens.
I only decide that this creature just eats honey every time it's out now, so it's just an elk, like just like floppy tongue, just like slapping itself in the nose and like just as it walks majestically.
Elk
Yeah,
tongues
Finn,
are
go ahead
really
and give me a
odd.
perception check.
It is a dirty 20.
Yeah, you keep an eye out. Nothing catches your eye until you see something on the horizon. It is a horde of sheep migrating southwards. You see a large group of sheep that have made their way into the road, large, boofy, making their way forward. And you can see the figure of a person sort of pushing their way to the front, and it just seems like you just have to. You're delayed slightly because
We have to wait for the sheep.
you gotta
crossing.
wait for the sheep.
They're all absolute units, every single one of them.
But you know, from your cart and on top of this elk, just like all the sheep pass by, and the guy's like, "Sorry about that. Just moving by. Sorry, we'll get through." And is like trying to. There's
Sheep
one
on
sheep
run,
that like
ever
hits
rotate.
into the cart and then stays there, and the guy comes over and like pulls it around.
Nana will help him get it down.
Sorry,
I would
they're
like
dumb
to
as
give
shit.
him a small vial of
I'd
honey.
be much happier with you, honestly.
Oh,
Vote no on the guard.
sure.
Sure, whatever.
The plan.
Perfect.
Puts it in his pocket. He's like, all right. As he pushes a sheep to keep moving. And after about like, it's a good solid 30 minutes of getting these sheep past you guys. They, it seems the second met with obstacle, it's a nightmare.
Of course it is. Sheep are chaotic.
But the road is mostly shit for a hot minute until you, as you progress northward. Nothing else of note, and you guys set up for camp again. Anything for the nighttime?
Trying to get Jenny to recognize Nix again.
Okay, animal handling.
No,
Okay.
Oh, no.
it's not a natural 20. So
People want an enhance ability.
The team will request help when they're dead.
I guess so.
All right.
Nana is stacking that for tomorrow for Roshan. That's for damn sure. Because God Almighty, she wants it open. For his
You
sake,
guys,
if nothing else.
you guys wake up. I'm not saying somebody else might have bless or something that could help, but I'm not saying everybody could throw all their shit at this if they wanted to. But
can help.
you know, maybe some secrets are best kept inside of a puzzle box. You know,
Maybe.
maybe.
Or exposed to the light of day and understood.
You wake up on the 4th day and you continue forward. What do we do during the day, boys?
That puzzle box is coming out. Nana's throwing down an enhance ability.
Okay, we're shining of enhanced abilities.
Great.
Rufio is a giant badger today.
Nice.
Honey badger, honey badger, honey badger.
Wow.
Actively eating honey.
Not even close.
No!
All right.
Oh, I'm so angry.
The puzzle box remains unsolved at this moment.
That thing's a bitch. It's terrible.
It is a pain in the ass.
Yes, I can see that. Awful.
I mean, it was with well-seasoned adventurers who knows how long they had it
Yeah, that's
and never got it open.
Long
Oh,
time.
God.
They were stupid.
And
Yeah.
one day we'll be old
Smart.
adventurers with it.
You guys push forward. Nothing stands out today. It is the night. Fen, you can go ahead and roll animal handling.
Do you want it?
Not a nat 20. So
Oh,
We'll get another one. Don't worry, boys.
Buddy.
Eventually.
the last two were close, though.
mm.
We're
I know
getting
how
there.
that feels.
And it is Hold on. Are we going? See, this is what I get for making the little mark before the day start. First day, message. Second day, spreading salt. Third day, sheep. We're going into the fourth day. Okay. Where am I? All right. Fourth day, hit the road. During your trek forwards, you end up crossing a sturdy, well-constructed bridge, pushing you over the river. There's like a smaller cart that like stops, like, and kind of pulls off to the side to let you guys pass. And then makes their way through, giving like a little nod, seeming just wanting to stay bundled up and not like stick a hand out to wave.
Makes sense. It's very cold.
All right, what do we anything today, boys?
Review is a dire wolf today.
Oh, good.
God.
I like
This
that.
person in the
I
other
will be
car is
riding him.
unsettled.
I will be riding him.
Shooting thick
Any
biscuit.
large or larger animal, I will be riding.
Sure.
Nyx is bored from being on the cart for this many days. Is going to look for poisonous plants. along the-
Sure. Go ahead and give me. I'll take either investigation or survival. Either of those, I think.
We'll go survival since I don't have a negative in that. That's a 16.
Okay. You see what looks like the shape of like a fallen tree covered in snow. And you get lucky enough to be able to pull some nasty kind of slimy mossy things out from underneath that you think you shouldn't eat. You don't think you should eat that, but you have just like a bit of nasty undertree moss.
Right, that's what she wants.
This is what I came here for.
Well,
Need to get a shower.
She's gonna run it back to Kel and be like,
Oh,
"Look, I found
what
something."
did you find?
Look, and it like jiggles a little bit after her hand stops.
Find that under a
Neat.
tree?
It's not a lot.
What are you
pretty
gonna do
good.
with it?
Well, I have this kit. Remember, I got that kit after I poisoned us, so I can try to do it not on purpose now instead. Remember?
Well, then I guess it's a good find.
So long as it doesn't wind up in the cooking pot, I'm happy.
Oh, that's not allowed in the pot.
No, he doesn't let me use the cooking pot anymore.
Understandable. I mean, honestly, I probably wouldn't be.
You can use it with the supervision.
Oh my god!
Cool.
I think at some point after spiking the puzzle box, Roshan would find some privacy with Nyx and ask about her arm.
Oh, my shoulder.
Yeah.
That one.
She avoids looking at it as often as possible, so she'll just pull it down, hoping no one sees. See if it's gotten any bigger.
It looks the same, doesn't it? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks the same.
Okay.
I think it's fine.
Well, doesn't seem to be growing at an alarming rate.
I mean, it's definitely grown, but this is fine.
Okay. Well, just wanted to check, make sure everything was okay.
Yeah, I mean, once if I can't move it, I think that's when be actually concerned.
I think now's an okay time to be concerned too. And we'll breeze through No Ansicht and head toward the library and see if they've got anything for you.
I don't know about breeze through, but
You set up for camp. Go ahead and give me that animal handling check, Fen, and we can get on to the morning of day 5.
Nope.
If you ever
We're
want
full.
advantage, tell me.
Too late.
Too late.
It's happening when we're all sleeping.
Yeah.
Worst roll yet.
um,
You'll
You-
eventually ask me.
you all get up the next day knowing that just in a couple hours you will be arriving in town, in
Okay.
Noan Sect. And you get to decide amongst yourselves what's worth doing, what's worth avoiding a second time. And we're going to take our break.
Timing.
We're going to take a 10-minute break, go get a snack and a drink, and we'll get into town and see what the party decides to do. See you guys in 10.
Thank you, Tim.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 111 of On the Backs of Gods. We just took our 10-minute break. The party has just arrived at the outskirts of Noansect. You can see kind of the shape of things on the horizon. It's not a long trek once you get up to get there. Is there anything you guys would like to do before you arrive?
We're not wanted in Noansect, right?
It's a toss-up.
We did some shit here, but I don't think anyone knew it was us.
And we don't have any stolen goods on us.
No, I think most of that went with Gorbjorn.
Good. We'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But I think maybe something that Nana might have been looking into is whether or not like any of the party's shields might have like a burnished side that could act sort of like a mirror, or do we maybe have like a little shaving mirror that somebody's been keeping or something like that?
I also have a question about shields.
Yeah, put all the shield questions on the table now. Let's go for it.
Cool.
Does anyone have a shield that has maybe unique, symbolry on it that might belong to a dead comrade of somebody that might be known to be in this city?
Yeah. Fully.
Yeah. The shield that you bear, Keld. Does Gunhild know that its former bearer is dead?
I don't know if I know that answer.
Even if they don't, they would probably recognize it.
That's my thought. And there's a couple of things we might be able to do with this. If they don't know that, I'm sorry, I don't remember the chap's name, who you killed to come across that. But I remember his look, and I could make myself to look like him.
That's an idea.
To what end? What would you plan to do?
Well,
Right.
first of all, I don't think any of us should be seen by any of the guards' loyal followers if we can identify them. But if we do find them and they don't see us, maybe we could get closer in and find some information about them, particularly if we appeared to be one of their trusted allies.
Potentially, yes. But how badly would that backfire if they know he's dead?
Well, I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking, do they know, did any of them escape when you slew them? And did you burn their bodies?
Yeah, they were all burned.
None escaped
Tate,
then?
that's a name. So my thoughts were, if you're not known to them, Nyx and Keld, and I appear to be Tate, Roshan and Nana could be invisible. We could gain an audience in a way. If you're not known to them, you could appear to be new recruits to their cause, brought in by Tate. And Nana and Roshan, being invisible, could not be far behind, is a thought of mine. If we can track down where they are.
It's a big if, and that's assuming we aren't stopped on the road by something more pressing and more dangerous, but it's an idea.
Well, I can see the town off in the distance there. See the pole of smoke above the chimneys. We're not far, not much to be stopped upon the road. We need to find out where they are.
Right.
I just don't think that Fen, Nana, or Roshan should be seen to be in town. At least not seen by them. I think the rest of the town is relatively safe to us, but I don't want to be recognized by any of the guards. Bosch, I'm sorry, I keep calling him by his chosen name.
Well, we don't have to dead name him in order to disrespect him, but
Oh, I prefer to do both.
Disrespect him with an ass whooping.
we'll
I'll call you the
disrespect him with
guard,
an
but I'm gonna
ass
kick your
whooping.
ass.
I
So those are my thoughts, and I'm willing to hear anybody else's input on them. Just something that occurred to me when I saw when Nana mentioned a shield.
I don't disagree. I think that it's not wise for us to be recognized by Bosch's folk if we can possibly avoid it.
I can make myself look to be however I choose, but only for a short period of time without ducking off to do so again.
If I'd thought to put on this stupid hat yesterday, I could have helped with that, but never mind. Nana kind of picks up the hat of disguise and shows it, but it's like it requires attunement. It'd require like
My
a
attunement
day.
only takes a round.
A round.
I've stated it before, and I'll state it again. You guys can throw
fully
attunement around willy-nilly.
Well, that's quite useful. Nana, you can make yourself look however you like. My ability only lasts an hour at a time, but I can do it four times in a day. So as long as I can duck off into an alley when I feel I'm losing my focus on it and re-up it, and that's a possibility. Also, your hat and your armor are both quite useful in that regard. If you can make your armor look to be, like a hooded cloak, and Roshan wears the hat and makes himself to look like anyone else, I can make myself look like an unnamed individual. Roshan's a much better talker, might remember Tate better than any of us, and Roshan can make himself to look like Tate.
You have a fair point there. What do you think, Roshan?
I also have a way to disguise myself.
You do? Oh, goodness!
Well, I didn't want to say anything, and if you're unknown to them, that's fine, but you do kind of stick out. You're head and shoulders above the rest is what I'm trying to say.
In more ways than one.
I am happy to parade around as Tate, but what are we hoping that it gets us again?
Information, I'm hoping. Just a closer look at what Gunhild and any compatriots of hers might be doing. If they can get us a seat at the table during a sit-down, if there's such a thing, find out about what Bosch's next move might be, what they plan to do.
It could be valuable information. We certainly know precious little of their movements from here, and I don't know that we may be able to count on any further letters from our contact, but it could be useful. If nothing else, we could always just disguise ourselves as no one in particular. Pass through town, nothing said, no one seen, on we go. But
Well, if that's our approach, and I'm fine with that as well. But
it would
we
be
should
a good opportunity.
we should certainly put that shield away.
I do agree. If we're not going for a disguise in the line of Tate and some other people, we should definitely hide that. What do you all think?
I'm fine going in as Tate, but I'd rather not spend any energy hiding from the guard.
All right.
That's a fair enough point as well. Just the last time we were here, he seemed to have quite a bit of sway over the townsfolk and then gained quite a bit more before he left town. And that's my concern, is that we might be walking into a place that may be more or less hostile to us. Those are my concerns.
Well, then we can kill two birds with one stone if we happen to attract attention as Tate. So
If we run out of stones, I have quite a few arrows.
Hopefully it won't come to that. But
Roshan will take the hat and turn into Tate, as well as ask Keld if, in his best Tate voice, can I have my shield back?
This is strange.
Oh, that's weird. I don't like that. I'm gonna have
Remember
get
to
used
mention
that.
how much you look forward to going back to the dirt. He really liked saying that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Did he?
yeah, I'm so ready to turn back to dirt.
Oh, so ready to become worm food. Ooh.
Like ready in a carnal way.
Yeah, I feel like you guys weren't listening to the whole thing that they were into. We're all dirt, my guy.
It was one
He's
of the
very
things he said to
straightforward.
me right before he died.
Yeah. Their message on the nose. It could be a metaphor, but it might not be.
Might be both.
I don't remember. What did he say?
Basically that. He was. Yeah.
Basically,
DM,
killed
can
with
we
being
get-
murdered was kind of the
Can we get a
thing.
bullshit check
I
on that?
remember it being unsatisfying, but
That's the thing about these cultists. It's like, stop being excited about it.
Stop being excited to die. Weird. Stop.
You're making this not fun for me.
Yeah,
Weird.
no fun beating the shit out of a masochist.
Yeah.
Not at
You
all.
guys are smart. I mean, the only ones here who have actually, thrown hands with cultists are Keld and Nix.
Yeah,
But we
So
did
far.
literally take a hand from Bosch.
we did.
It's true.
But that was pre-cult Bosch.
Yeah.
So
Different
Fenn's gonna
time,
put his-
new Bosch.
just got worse.
Fenn's gonna put his hood up, and he's not gonna cast Disguise Self until he feels like he needs to. He's just gonna kind of hide his identity under his the hood of his cloak until they get closer to town. He's not gonna
Does this
ride
hat
a whole
last
hour
perpetually?
Disguise Self in.
yeah,
Um,
you can at will cast disguise self. The spell ends if the hat is removed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
While
You just
wearing
gotta
this
keep
hat,
your
you can
weird
use
hat
it.
on.
Yeah.
Is it Tate in a weird hat? Because it sounds like it's Tate in a weird hat.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
I mean,
The
I
hat
know
is
if
still
disguise
there. You
self
could touch it, but it's gone.
comes- I don't know.
So the hat
Yeah.
disappeared, but it's
Yeah.
there. Somebody could like swap over his head and just hit hat.
Okay.
Actually,
But it just
probably
doesn't
touch your
work.
face, Roshan. Go to touch your face as Tate and hit hat.
Oh, weird.
Maybe like pretend.
Weird.
Maybe like wear a helm as Tate. I don't know. Maybe it's a cold day. Maybe he wears a hat.
I just keep the weird hat. Just
I mean,
Tate's
either
trying
wear
stuff
a hat
out.
or just like a warm hat because it's cold.
Yeah, give him a cool hat.
Like,
What hat
like
is Tate wearing,
ear
Josh?
flaps.
Tell me what hat he's wearing.
I think the hat has like a wide brim, but it's underneath the hood of a cloak, so it's kind of like a big duck bill out front.
Oh my
Perfect. 10
fucking
out of 10.
God. I love it.
Artistic liberty with this disguise self is beautiful.
Nana is also using her armor, will incorporate a hood into the armor disguise so that she's not just sticking her whole face out there.
Okay, and Keld and Nix, you're just
Yeah.
raw dogging your appearances, I suppose.
Oh God. That or Keld might be doing
Live
something.
your best
I don't
life.
know.
I was trying to decide on that.
She has a cloak. She'll participate in putting her hood up. Kind of
Yeah.
like,
It's
okay, I
cold
guess.
out.
Yeah,
It's very
Keld, your
cold and the
ability
snow's
only
coming
lasts,
down
for so
hard.
long. So now would not be the time per se. You all continue towards Noansict, and the first thing that hits you is the smell, subtle at first but prominent, of rot. The smell of rotting flesh and charred skin and bone as you approach the city and can see the shadows starting to take shape of corrupted beings on pyres and gates, as it was the last time you were here. And the smell has intensified a good bit. Still an intimidating presence as you approach. You enter town. Things seem to be operating as normal. People going about their business, living their lives, going to and from work, taking supplies around and out as your cart kind of rides over the sort of uneven road as you make your way inwards. And on one of the first buildings, there is a billboard where you can see 3 wanted posters.
Oh,
They look newer, prominent, and over the top of any other papers that were there. You can see that there is a drawing of a woman, sort of a regal look to her, kind of stern eyes, but light, long, curly hair. You immediately recognize this as Saga, but with a bit of a different turn to the face. But the hair and the kind of styling of it sings to Saga. There's one next to it, a kind of wide-shouldered, orcish individual, dark hair, up in a ponytail, vaguely reminiscent of Gorbjorn.
They didn't get his nose right.
And then there is a silhouette. The third one, a silhouette. It says, wanted, information, 500 gold pieces. Wanted for breaking and entering, vandalism, theft of bovid, assaulting a guard, and disturbing the peace.
Uh-oh.
We didn't steal a cow.
What? Who stole what when?
Goats are
Okay, not out in the open.
do you know these people?
Later.
Not while we're in town.
Also, something that becomes apparent, you think there's more guards around than there were last time. Seems to be of a bit of an influx of guards.
Oh, great.
And just a reminder, if you're touring the town, for the people who are new or don't remember things that happened a million years ago, the things in this town you could see. I, as your tour guide, there is a tavern that you all stayed at because you weren't allowed to stay at any other tavern because it seems your pictures got around and you pissed off the wrong person. You couldn't stay at the fancy tavern, but you could stay at the gruesome chicken. So that's always on the table. There's also, if you're looking for company in the middle of the night, the middle of the day, that's up to you. You can head over to the Wise Head Inn. If you're looking for an inn you're not allowed to stay at in Saga, filled with ice and snow, and you all filled with rats and stole from, you could head on over to Gilded Knights Inn.
I don't think we should do that.
The Temple of Njord, which you also stole and vandalized. And then there is also the Hidden Ember, which is where your acquaintance Ember is. And that's my story. Just wanted to give everybody a recap of the named places. But what would you guys like to do as you make your way into town?
Roshan's going to poll the group and say, is there anything we need to do in town? I would like to stop by Embers and tell her that she won't be getting those clams she so dearly wanted.
I mean, I think it's only fair that we do let her know and not keep stringing her along. I can't imagine she'll be happy if we do.
We could let her know the name of a good captain that might be able to, that knows the location of the clams and might be able to take her, or somebody in her hire closer, but that we are never going back to that town. The more pressing matters arose. Ones that might also threaten her town, but you didn't want to hear about that, so...
Is there anywhere else anyone wants to go? I would like to...
I want to buy some thunderclap arrows from Ember if she's not too angry with us.
So yeah, does anyone else need to go anywhere else? Because I request a short stay in town. I would like to leave tomorrow morning if possible.
I think it probably would do us good to rest tonight so that we're fresh for the road in the morning, and perhaps we can hear some local scuttlebutt, so long as we keep a low profile. But I would really rather we keep a truly low profile if we possibly can.
I completely agree. I think that it would be nice to learn more information about the whereabouts of our friend that is in with Bosch. Try to find some information about her and her whereabouts. Gain as much information about Bosch as possible, and then, once we've done our business here, be on towards the library.
Hmm.
There,
Then on to the hidden ember.
well, there's also the issue of there might be a concern that a similar fate might befall this town that befell Norton if we don't warn the correct people.
Well,
And I
is there
don't know how
any-
to express that message. We tried to speak to Ember, and she didn't want to hear it. But
Is there
But they
any way
need
that
to
we
know-
could find proof that there was some activity around here? Proof would motivate someone. Conjecture and accusations might not.
surely word has traveled about the fate of Norton from Norton.
Surely.
One would think,
And-
but who knows how that's been misinterpreted by way of machinations of the cult.
That's my concern, is that we express to these people, if they don't want to believe that they're in danger, I'm not sure what we can do to further drive that point home. But there must be someone here, aside from Ember, who we can deliver that word to. No?
I just remembered something that would help with that. Can I have sent a sending to Egil a few days ago about whether he trusts Brilla or not? Because he left us on a cliffhanger when I ran out of spells, but
That
then I
is
forgot.
true.
It has been a few days, but I will allow it.
Okay.
What does your message say?
Ran out of energy last night. Should we trust Brilla or not? Who is she and where do her allegiances lie?
This is the first time it's ever occurred like this. You tried to communicate with people and it came back garbled. This is like your words were spiked out of the air.
Oh no.
And the best way to describe it for you is it's as if something separate from the person blocked it. And as a reminder to Nyx, Eagle said he would not be available.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, fuck. Was there anybody else we could talk to?
I could message Valrone the same thing, but we're not like close.
Would you like to message Valrone?
I mean, she might
Yeah,
listen to you.
I'll message her the same thing.
You're Eagle's boyfriend, you know.
Gil Indisposed was going to tell us about Brilla. Should we trust her? Where do her allegiances lie? Do you know her?
And once again, Babich, as you had, I think, 2 words left.
Babich.
Babich. Brilla. She's, from what I remember, a bitch.
Well,
I'd have to look it up. She's involved with the Continental Information Network, right? And that's where it cuts off.
Huh.
Oops.
So yeah, I think Roshan, zapping back to the present, says, I don't know who we could trust in this town other than Ember. And Ember doesn't seem interested. Although we might be able to pay her to be interested. She doesn't seem the type, but we'll see.
What do you
She might
do you
also
think-
be able to point us towards someone.
Maybe.
What do you think it would take to get an audience with the chief?
Assuming the chief isn't already in Bosch's pocket. He was rather chummy with him at the assembly.
That's right.
There might be other ways to take an angle at that, but I'll leave that to brighter minds, more conniving minds than my own to approach that.
What do you think our odds might be, Roshan?
Slim. The last
More
time we
so
came through
or
town.
less so than anything else we've ever tried.
Even
Well-
if you were in the appearance of one of Bosch's lieutenants.
I don't think I would feel comfortable seeking an audience with the chief under less than honorable pretenses.
We
Well-
could certainly wind up in much more trouble than we already are.
I understand that, and my concern is I don't feel comfortable leaving a town at our backsides to potentially befall the same fate as the last town, the last city that we left.
I mean, the only thing I could think of that we could do is do a full circuit of the town and see whether or not there are any of those pits.
And
And I
after-
don't know if we could do that unobserved. We would need to do it probably after dark.
I
It
could
makes
do
sense.
that.
You could do that. That's true.
That's
And once we're done at Embers, I could turn into an owl or something and do a sweep around.
that's not
You
a
might
bad idea at
also-
all. That's
Ask the local I don't know
Flora
if
and
there's a
fauna?
Rangers Guild, but whoever
Rangers Guild.
patrols the area keeps the city safe if they've seen anything weird or if there's been disappearances on their team.
That's also a good point. We could come at this from multiple angles.
Mhm.
Let's head to Embers, and Nix, I like your idea. Once we're done with Ember, then I'd like it if we could have some eyes in the sky, see whether or not there's anything immediately threatening this town. Meanwhile, maybe we can find a guard who's perhaps a few cups too deep and might be willing to share some stories.
not a terrible idea. And Fen will hold up the alchemy jug, and we can put some more cups in him too.
That's a fair point. What is it?
So long as
Wine?
it's not honey.
Get out of there.
Wine or ale?
Poison. We don't want it to
Well-
be poison.
I don't. I don't want to be poisoned. But wine or ale? A gallon of wine, 4 gallons of ale. Either would make an impact, I think.
I'd guess so.
Either
Well,
might
first
also
let's
make
head
it cold.
to Embers.
Agreed.
Okay. You all begin to make your way forward with your low profile, led by Tate. As you make your way through town, seeing the occasional wanted poster for people who vandalized an inn and a church. But you push past those that who even would do that?
Who even would do something dreadful?
Who would
Fen was
steal a
more
goat?
than a. When they vandalized the inn, Fen was disguised as the brothel owner. He was not a silhouette in that instance. So
Yeah, it seems that it has come to a silhouette person.
okay, Okay.
Mm.
You were not here to watch the drama unfold as the town seemed to amp up the amount of guard it has.
I'm sure that brothel owner would have been interrogated first off since his likeness was seen, and he'd be like, I was in somebody's room stuffing somebody's wife. You can't pin nothing on me.
You know, usually you have a pretty good alibi if you own a brothel and you work at night. You know, it's a 50-50 shot how good of your alibi is, so you never know. But, you know, or he is having a really bad time. Either way, you'd have to
What weird-
swing by the brothel to find that out.
He was
But
saying
I'm doing that.
anyways.
You push forward, making your way through the center of town where, once again, that the gentle smell of rot hits you. And you see, standing still tall and beautiful as ever, even though the connotation of it, not the best, but visually stunning, besides the corrupted limbs that hang from it on ropes, the same as the outside of the city, is the tree, standing still proudly in the center of town, unimpeded. Just a little more gruesome in appearance. But
Wish it wasn't so. Well, obviously, except for the things dangling from it, I wish it wasn't so god's damned pretty to look at. Be easier to hate.
this town likes a good corpse decoration, it seems.
Yeah, that's a thing we've noticed about Nuansect.
Yeah, they have a vibe.
They have a
And
vibe,
is it working
and
for
that
them?
vibe is dismembered limbs.
And you eventually come across the hidden ember, which is placed between two very close together buildings, as if somebody spitefully built it there. You see the little magic shop. You're welcome to go in.
Yeah, I think Roshan will lead everyone in. And what do the windows to the outside look like?
Oh, you cannot see through the Wii's windows.
Great.
These windows can't look through them.
So I think Roshan heads in, and then as soon as... Is the coast clear, other than maybe Ember?
You walk into the place. Yeah, it's just ember and the sound of skittering overhead as the little mephits sort of hop from pillar to pillar.
Well, I was thinking of the rats because we left
Mephits.
40 rats in the city, but okay, the Mephits. All right, I get it.
No, these are just no mice.
Little fire devils.
little monsters, little terrible lava monsters.
Little guys.
I thought for certain we left an army of rats in the city that were still infesting everything, but
Oh,
No,
I'm
just
sure
like
you did. I'm sure somebody got paid a lot of money to try and deal with that problem.
Well, I'm sure hoping that this city paid their Pied Piper.
But you do enter the space. Actually, you don't see Ember, but there is like a curtain to a backspace. But you can see the counter and then the methods.
I would like to head up to the, I suppose is a counter in front of that backspace, and give the counter a solid knock and say,
Or is there a bell?
Ember, are you here?
There's a delay. And then the sound of like wood hitting against wood and then something scraping across the ground and then like the scattering of like multiple something smalls, maybe in like the something harder like marbles. And Ember with a bit of like a side monocle on that has multiple levels to it walks out and pulls it off. And did you drop your Tate disguise? I can't remember.
No, but as she walks out, he would like to pull off the hat and put it under his arm and greet her, saying, "Good afternoon, Ember. I wanted to come in person to tell you that unfortunately we were unable to acquire any of your clams
Deadly spiky clams that will kill
Yes.
you with a touch.
But while we were underwater, I found something that perhaps you'd find interesting still.
She looks over the group. She has a skin that sort of looks like grayish ash, red hair, short and pushed back, and you can see sort of her waterline of her eyes, and then like the inner part of her lip you can see is like a brilliant, almost like fire reddish orange, in these small places, where you can see the change of color. She like blinks and looks over the group.
I would like to say that Fen looks like disappointed at the admission that we didn't get these things. Like Fen was looking forward to doing it, and he looks sad that we didn't get the. When Roshan says, "Yeah, we didn't get your clams," Fen's like, "Yeah, God damn it."
Pat, pat.
Where is anything? I don't care.
Who
Nerds.
cares?
Um,
Nobody cares.
I'm on, just for the people at home, I'm onto my third notebook and everything's a blur. I don't know where anything is.
Group 3.
Ember stares for a long moment and kind of lingers on Keld and Nyx because that's new.
Tis.
I was very interested in getting those oysters. Were you not in the area?
We were, and we even went diving. Unfortunately, we were unable to locate any, and instead, we needed to spend the bulk of our time underwater, exploring a tower that had been upended and magically sealed there for centuries. And I found this while I was under there, and he'll produce the wand of the war mage, and thought perhaps in the absence of these oysters, a powerful antique might pique your interest.
We've got lots of gems too. Lots of gems. So many gems.
She takes the wand and glances it over. Roll persuasion with disadvantage.
Oh, no.
Come on, buddy.
That is a 15.
Okay.
Not bad with disadvantage.
See, this is a nice piece, is the thing. But you know when you're prepping for something that you're interested in, a goal, as it were, and a very nice wand is not going to accomplish that goal, it can be disappointing.
I completely understand. And I apologize that we haven't been able to get what we told you we might. But perhaps a sale might brighten your day instead.
We did meet someone also who may have some information regarding where precisely to locate those oysters. Someone
And perhaps
in your employ might be able to get back there.
And perhaps if that person needed to do so without, the color of the law, this person might be able to provide them some sort of cover. It's an important person. Hopefully that information is helpful.
I mean, I'm a bit disheartened because it seems people who have met this person that could help you skirt the law and were near the water and actively diving did not get me my oysters. And perfectly your choice.
It wasn't
She
the
pockets
choice.
the wand. She fully pockets
Yeah.
it.
No, that's fair. It was offered.
Then I will go over and grab a few of the. Does she have thunderclap arrows out still?
You don't see any.
We were hoping that that might be an exchange for some of those thunderclap arrows. I assume you made them.
Of course, I made them. I've been, let's say, a bit distracted. I've had a big project come in.
Oh,
I am sorry to hear that. Is there anything else that might be that might equal interest?
Not doing a 1-for-1 trade because you guys kind of wrecked my shit. You guys put me behind a hot minute, so this is not 1-for-1.
Right.
No worries.
I don't have time to make anything, you know.
And we don't have the time to stay around, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I could get us back here pretty quickly.
I don't think you and I have properly met yet.
Should just looking up at these lava monsters, watching them the whole time.
I'm sorry I haven't introduced our new friends. This is Quelled and Nyx.
I'm gonna whisper to Nana, just like, I don't think Nyx and Ember look compatible at all.
Nona is stymied on how exactly to respond to that. She's going to take a minute.
She leans over the table and like looks Nyx over. It's been a while since I've seen someone of your lot.
I have never seen anyone like me. So, hey, your head.
How disheartening for you.
What lot exactly is that?
Oh, good question. Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. You watch as she casually goes through things, glances at, you know, objects of hers you are actively wearing, such as the glamored studded armor. Well, the funny thing is I can't tell you specifically. My family always said that we were descended from the giants of the mountain, those of fire that dwells deep within inside of it, a burning in the center of the earth. And some come from the water, the runoff from the burning mountains. And that would be you. You are the product of burning mountains.
I think that's
Pretty
a compliment.
badass.
She'll look over at Cult. Do you think that's why I was by the river?
I mean, I guess
Maybe.
it could be.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, that's just story. I came from a physical person, but we have a connection to the elements around us. As
Oh yeah,
You
she's just
probably
gonna like
noticed.
play with some water.
astounding. She reaches forward and like places her hand into the water, and you watch most of it just go up into steam.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's so fun.
That's so cool.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe they'll get along.
I would be
Are
willing.
we shipping them now?
She places. She smiles. How about a gift from the mountain then? For meeting one of the earth, and for giving me actually a very expensive magic item that I am going to keep and not fully compensate you for fully. But you know, you can have my greatest forgiveness for not getting me my deadly illegal oysters.
I'm
And
not
she
asking for
thinks-
your forgiveness.
Good, because I was kind of lying about giving it. And
I bought gloves and a bucket and everything. I tried.
did you try, though? I don't feel like you tried.
Kind of. A lot of us almost really died. Like it was.
But
it
did
was
you
close.
die trying to get the oysters or doing your
Or
own
did
dumb
you
shit?
die,
That's what I want to
though?
know.
It was our own dumb shit.
Oh yeah, there was dumb shit for
I
sure.
could assume
but-
that.
We were attempting to do both things at the same time, and the scheduling wound up bad, and our water-breathing potion ran out, and we hadn't met Nyx yet, so...
I
Sorry.
wanted to go fishing, and it was unfortunate.
Hey, was this at the town where we met you?
Yes.
Yeah,
You
the
even
town
I-
fucking
you
burned
could
down.
have
You had her with
asked
you and
me.
couldn't get me my oysters.
If you, I could have gone. I can breathe underwater.
You
You
can breathe
know.
underwater.
Slime monsters crushed the city.
I heard
Yeah, but
about
we
that.
could
That's
have
such a
stayed another
terrible,
day.
terrible thing that happened. But she
That
starts
didn't
like
happen
going out.
immediately after we got back to town. We were rather intending to go back out and go looking for those oysters, and then the monsters attacked the city, and we
I gotta tell you, I don't believe you, but it's too late now. We're already kind of landlocked. Blah blah blah. I guess I don't make my terrible nightmare poison I was gonna make. Blah blah blah. Whatever. And she
if we
pulls
find
out.
some way to get it to you eventually, we will.
Is the poison
If
your
you
big
do-
project?
I'll give you honestly at this point. If you could get it to me, you can have, run of the place, candy shop style. But you didn't. So, and she turns to Nyx. How about a gift from me to you, a person of a mountain to the person rolling with the wind beneath, forging channels. And she places 2 potions on the table, and they are bright red. One of them like roiling fire moving under the dim lighting in this place. And then the other one, a very deep, sort of viscous red with little flecks of black floating through, almost like charcoal or ash. So what we have here is a potion of fire breath. You can think of me when you use it. And here we have a potion of fire giant strength. These are my gifts and greater healing potion. That's all I'm doing. I'm pissed.
That's fair. That's very generous.
Is the shop still open?
I just said I was working on a huge project. Of course, we're open.
Oh, okay, but can we do some additional shopping? Do you have anything else that might be willing to sell or barter for gemstones?
I gotta tell you, I mean, if you come to rob me, I will burn you to the ground. But I have a shit ton of gemstones. I don't want to talk about where they came from. It's irrelevant.
Fair enough.
But yeah, don't worry about it. She sort of turns around and then she stops. What was with the hat trick?
Oh, that's when you score 3 goals in one game. Oh, sorry.
We're not well liked around here, and there's a lieutenant of the guard, perhaps not lieutenant, that's something lower maybe, but he was slain, and we were hoping if anybody around here recognized him, we could use that to our advantage to apply some information from them, but no dice so far.
Well, this seems a little awkward. I'm not the pickiest with my clientele, and she motions to all of you. Money's money.
I wouldn't expect you to be. They're just people after all, but it sounds like you've done business with them.
I am actually currently in the middle of business. with a person of some interest to people about town.
With the guard, or
Well, there's a young woman who I've been communicating with, who came in with a big request and a big satchel of coin, and I'm a sucker for a woman with a large satchel of coin.
that would be Gunhild, likely, if you used names.
It could be. I would never talk about my clients,
We never
privacy and all.
Certainly.
But you could call her that if you see fit.
So, not speaking of your client, I wouldn't know if you're doing any business with a Gunhild, but do you know of any Gunhilds that might be in town or where we might find one?
Shockingly enough, I think there is one in town. How interesting. What an astute question.
How interesting indeed. Would you benefit from Gunhild dying?
It would not benefit me. Death occasionally benefits people. People in this room included. But it was a half up front sort of thing. So it would actually not benefit me if I did not receive the second half of my payment.
I'd assume it was a rather large sum.
It's quite the large sum. It's quite the project. If I were working on one for this sort of pricey project, fancy object.
Without naming a price, which maybe we could talk about a bit later, if the conversation still goes as amicably as it has gone so far. Do you mind talking about what the project is?
See, that's a little spicy. That starts to cross the moral boundaries, as a shop owner, a person of who does questionable shit and gets paid a shit ton of money for it.
What if we brought you some bread? I know somebody that is quite an astounding cook. I don't know how he bakes, but I know you like bread.
It's kind of funny you bring that up. I've heard people around town, early morning, peppy type, get out of bed to get breakfast, Maybe some people like to frequent the same place every morning. I've heard that you can get incredible pastries at Bun for the Money.
What was the name of it?
Bun for the Money.
Bun for the money, of course it is.
I've
Sounds like
just
an incredibly straightforward business model.
And like that, we'll shop and end you up in the penitentiary.
all I can say is that I know individuals go there every morning for a nice little bite. This bitch. No. She gets a new voice next session.
She's
like getting a new voice. Yeah, she's gonna kind of gargle some salt water and figure that out.
Oh, thank God!
Wow, my voice, she's fixed. She sort of takes out the wand and kind of taps it against the sides of these glasses, and like the little black flecks in one of them sort of swirl and move a bit. Because of course I wouldn't. This isn't a bakery, and bakery activities should not happen at the not bakery.
Absolutely not.
Right, definitely.
But at the bakery, anything goes. That's none of my business, and certainly not my business at all.
Right. Definitely.
Perhaps.
But But real quick, if she does happen to die and has a satchel of gold on her, if that made actually it was platinum, if that makes it way to me, whatever.
We can take a look. Should we happen across an individual?
Should you find a bag of platinum on the ground next to a sleeping individual?
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Platinum falls off of the back of carts all the time.
Right. For certain, definitely.
But I would also be pretty careful because you guys have, not all of you, some of you got away a little squeaky clean, but there are some beautiful pictures around town to give me serotonin as I walk the streets. So I'd be careful, especially with the influx of suits about. Armor and swords on every corner.
Saw lots of posters, didn't recognize anyone in them.
I have honestly never met anyone in my life.
Not a single goddamn person.
Can't name one.
Nope.
But no thunderclap arrows.
I couldn't see if I'm able to make one, but make a few, but it will take me. I'm trying to figure out if I'm still doing my big project or not. I'm going to continue as if you guys are just going to buy some baguettes,
All right.
So
No
I
sense in
will.
offsetting a project that's still in the works.
So I'm going to put it on my list, and if it happens to come up, you'll be the first to know, especially if I hear a large clatter of coin on my counter.
All right.
So we can go from there.
And if we're not first in line, that's fine. Can you forward them to, if we gave payment now, could you forward them potentially to Kivik Library? Care.
Oh, I didn't take you for nerds. She smiles,
Oh,
and you can see that her gums are also that sort of orangey color around the edges, and like the sides, like the underside of her tongue.
I didn't say that we'd be there, but if you could send them to Rose at Kivik Library, I'm sure that Rose could take possession of them for us.
Have any of you been to the Kivik Library?
We're
Never.
hoping to get there.
So, I personally, because it seems that, normally you have to pass by Jarlsbecker. Maybe I'll send them to Jarlsbecker. Kivik Library is specifically a no magic zone.
Oh.
If you use magic inside of the library, you'll be banned after some magical bodyguards of sort beat the shit out of you and kick you out, and then you are physically unable to enter again. It's a whole thing. It's why I don't do it's why I build things. It's why I don't read books. Librarians are a pain in the ass.
Magical items aren't allowed to be carried there?
And if you cast a single spell, something pops out of the walls, and as I was told to me, they beat the shit out of you and you can never return, is what I heard.
All right. Where's a moderately priced inn in Jarlsbecker? If you can give us the name of it and ship those there, care of Rose, we might be able to make a deal here now for those.
Okay, give me 250 gold, and actually for the shipping, we're going to round it up to 300 gold, and I would be happy to send those northwards.
For what quantity?
5.
Nana, is that a good deal?
Roshan is already grabbing the money.
They're very good.
All right.
And I feel a wave of forgiveness washing over me as she takes the money over to her side. And if you guys pick me up something from the bakery, I won't be mad about it.
I think that's easily done.
You're easily our favorite person in this town.
100%.
That's not a hard bar to beat. In my humble opinion, everyone here sucks.
They do.
Except for you, of course.
Certain, but...
Well, I have my moments. I can be a bit hot-headed, you know. But
Surely
if that's
no meat
everything.
makes you hotter in the eyes of the beholder.
Present company excluded. Where do the lowlifes hang out around here?
Oh, we've all been there before. We've all been to the Gruesome Chicken. We know that.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
do vaguely
We ate
recall.
bread there. We know the place. We planned to destroy an inn there. It was a whole thing.
That was pretty much the thing.
That's right. That's right. I recall.
Yes. Nowhere else besides the Gruesome Chicken where folk tend to congregate to speak of unspeakable things.
Well, that's the normal spot. I'm sure if you look around the occasional alleyway or corner, somebody's murmuring about something. But, you know, I don't
Mostly the
partake
Gruesome
in such
You
low-life fruit, as it were.
Oh,
never,
never.
never assumed you would.
No.
Well,
You are an upstanding businesswoman.
so the things I currently have, I got caught up. If you're interested, I still have that beautiful chainmail, and points over to the Ifriti chainmail. I mean, if you have 25K to throw around, she's always there for you.
I don't know if we do.
Don't think any one of us could actually use that in an effective way. Honestly.
We also have kind of the inverse, but not as cool. I'm going to be honest. I have an armor of cold resistance, 1,200. What do I got? You guys took my ring of jumping. What do we
I think
got?
that's still on Tordrick's finger back
Yeah,
in
Tordrick
the
has
museum.
It's what got him into trouble. He used that to
Jump
jump
into
his
the
head right
street.
into the ground.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a couple slightly magically imbued daggers. Honestly, I've been working on this stupid project, and also I had been working on my thing that I have to put on the back burner, as it were. Honestly, don't have a lot of stock. But if none of that interests you, I might go back to working on my project of, you know, to amplify some magics, as it were. Oh, gosh, slip of the tongue. Is there anything else?
We
Oh,
didn't
that's all I
hear
can think of.
anything. Not a thing.
Oh, I don't recall talking to you ever, so how could you have heard
No,
anything?
never. Not a thing.
Well, I prefer a not sweet bread if you are at the bakery in the morning, so just putting it out there.
We'll be there,
Sweet.
and we will tell you. I'll let you know before we leave town.
Beautiful. I'll be here working away for someone.
And a pleasure as always.
Indeed. Easy, boys. And she like glances up, and you can see like the mephits are kind of like in a position where they're sort of hanging over a bit. And there's like a bit of lava like dangling right at the point of the nose, and then they like pull back right before it drops and kind of skitter back up to the top.
You mean like they sniffle it up like snot drips?
It's kind of like imagine if an ice cube was made of magma instead, and you lean it in a direction and it starts to drip. It is their physical bodies are made of this.
Oh, interesting.
So it is not a nasal drip, it is a tip of the nose drip.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Cool.
Also, if you learn anything fun about the snow that melts and forms the rivers, I'd love to hear about it. If you find anything interesting.
Will do. Nyx is gonna stay behind him before everyone else, like once everyone else is out the door anyway. So
Yeah, Roshan will put
Makes
the
sense.
hat back on and
You're shipping this so hard now.
assume Kate and
Fire and dice. Fire and ice. Fire and ice. Yes.
Can I help you?
once they're all out the door, she's just gonna pull out the bag of platinum that she has and plop it on the counter. That's the sound you were waiting for, right?
That is a beautiful sound.
I hope that lets you go back to your own projects.
You are a vision.
I also picked this up. It's not quite the clams. I wish I'd seen them, but I found this slimy stuff that's really poisonous for a tree on my way in. Maybe we could do something with it.
Make sure you swing by after the bakery at some point, yeah?
Yeah.
That'd be great. I think I could work on a personal project.
Hope so. She's gonna put her new potions in her bag and wave goodbye. And run
You
out
have
the
fun
door.
with those. Burn something down for me.
Hell yeah, we will.
And you can hear the sound of coin being moved across the counter. And you hear like a holy shit as the door closes behind you. And you know what? I'm going to say, as you all enter into the snowy space, a big difference to the warm interior of the small magic shop. That is where we are going to stop for tonight. Thank you all for being here. We really do appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story, and it seems the headcanons and the ships are brewing, and you know, it'd be like that. Saga's gone, Nyx is in.
I mean, Saga's looking for her son. She has responsibilities. She can't be tied down
busy.
to a flirtation with a hot.
And I gotta tell you, I don't know if Ember is ready for a parental role in anyone's life.
I don't think so.
So here at the Dice Cult, we got all the stuff, we got the things, you know what it is. If you head over to youtube.com/the Dice Cult, you can watch the backlog of all of our shows. You can watch our one-shots. You can watch Cordially Invited, which is a Dungeons & Dragons 5e game about a fantastical royal wedding and the planning of such, and the downfall of such, and then the reamping of such.
Yeah. And
You can also watch our completed series of Vampire the Masquerade and the Last Remaining Light, a beautiful story of burning a town to the ground, just literally decimating a community in a week. A beautiful story.
Wait a second. I've heard this story before.
Sometimes the city never stood a chance. And this is definitely that situation. So if you're interested in that with a little love story dropped on top, like a little cherry on top of the nightmare, you can head over to youtube.com/the. If you'd like to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. If you'd like to keep up with all of us, we are at the Dice Cult on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you all for being here. Once again, we really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time, same place on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Doing